saying, Rona, is that you? Is that you, Rona?
That's not even funny.
That's not funny?
Not funny. You're sitting right in my breathing area.
No mask or anything. I'm coughed all on the mic. I know. Let me stop. That's right. That's not funny. It's really nothing to play with.
It's not.
No. But it's definitely nothing to play with when you're trying to make your business either. Because, you could potentially be profiting off of other people's pain. I guess there's some moral issues that could kind of happen with that. You know what? Let's just think about that for a moment and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about a couple of germs, a couple of pandemics, a couple of pieces of bacteria. Whatever the case, stay tuned.
This is Mikel-Claire.
And this is Trey.
And we are the couple of entrepreneurs. We're here to share with you our journey of successes and setbacks as we enter the world of entrepreneurship now that we no longer have 9-to-5s due to the new normal of the world and the pandemic.
Join us as we race the clock to start earning money, gain consistency, and overcome self-doubts and uncertainty as we search for our voices and obtain personal and financial growth. So we are going to discuss the obvious, right? The pandemic that's been going all over the place.
Yeah.
How does that associate with running a business and entrepreneurship?
That's a very good question. It's so interesting to see all of the businesses and the effect that it's had on them, be it a brick and mortar or internet based business.
Yeah. Do you feel bad about the possibility of profiting off of such a horrible global disaster?
I don't, but I think it depends on what it is that you're selling or what your business is. If you're selling face masks.
Right. That's a perfect example.
Well, yeah,
face masks.
Well, then I wouldn't feel bad because you're helping people. You're giving them something that they actually need in order to survive during this time. It's not like you're selling them the virus itself.
Okay.
Now that would be something I'd be a little concerned with. Although the restaurants that are open right now, you have to admit, when you get a delivery, you do question.
Oh, absolutely.
You question if somebody gave a little cough to your food.
I pay special attention to the seals that are on the bag now. I'm like, let me make sure nobody's been tampering with the seal.
Tamper-proof stickers.
Yeah.
Gotta love them.
I did notice something, though. I know we were looking for masks, not just the regular N95 masks, the ones that keep all the really ugly germs out, but the regular day-to-day bop around the city masks. I noticed that quality was an issue. These people are selling these masks, and I don't know if they're necessarily checking to see if they fit, if they're too small, if they're reusable, can they be rewashed? It seems like they're just selling stuff to just profit.
Let me ask you the question in that situation, whose responsibility is it? Is it the responsibility of the person who's selling, or is it the responsibility of the educated consumer to do their due diligence in figuring out what is necessary in order to keep them safe?
There's the question, as an entrepreneur, how much of that responsibility are you going to take?
Do you feel that it's your responsibility?
I do a little bit for some parts of it. For example, my business is more selling information products. So the quality of the information products that I have, I try to take pride in that. But my business isn't necessarily overly benefiting from the virus per se. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're selling masks, that's a different thing.
Exactly. How do you think the pandemic has changed the mindset of entrepreneurs? Like, say, for instance, someone did own a restaurant.
Okay.
And all of a sudden they have no customers.
Ooh.
So is there a way to change your mindset or to change the way that you sell your product in order to survive?
You have to. It's one of those adapt or die situations. Mm-hmm. The environment changes. It's like the comet hitting in. You're either going to be the big lumbering dinosaur that ends up dying, or you could be the small, quick to adapt mammal that's going to end up inheriting the world. I feel bad for the really small mom and pop stores that can't necessarily change directions as quickly. The big gigantic stores seem to be having a difficult time as well too. But then there are those businesses that can change very quickly. They can get the quick seal stickers to make sure that your food is right. They've already got an account with people like Grubhub or Uber Eats to push their food out quickly, and they didn't have to make that adjustment. And then the people that were already doing it before are already known on those platforms, so their customer base is already established.
I think to an extent that's true, but then at the same time, they had to add a whole other level of disinfecting. I'm not sure all the guidelines and the regulations that they've had to adhere to, but there's a whole other level of things that you have to think about that I think were piled on unexpectedly.
We're speaking about restaurants, and I think about the culture of some restaurants, because sometimes you go to a restaurant specifically for the ambiance and the culture that the restaurant brings. And now none of that really means anything because you've just got a regular old delivery boy picking your food up in the same stash that they're picking up Burger King. So how do you make yourself stand out?
I was thinking of restaurants that I love, or that I love the atmosphere and the ambiance and the food. But I think in that situation, they have to be creative. You may have to upgrade or update your website or send out Facebook posts or ads that are reminding them of this is what the ambiance is like. So I think you just got to be creative in the way that you package or advertise for what it is that you're selling.
How do you feel about people that are being forced to work from home and the culture changing? Do you think that forcing people to work at home could usher in more of an entrepreneurial spirit?
I don't think so. Just because you're working from home doesn't mean you have an entrepreneurial mind. Let's be clear about that. Because if your mindset is, if I'm at home, I'm in my pajamas, I'm on the couch, I'm in front of the television, that's not going to change just because your boss says, hey, you need to work from home today. That's just what your mindset is. If you have an entrepreneurial mind and you know that I need to put forth effort, I need to schedule my time, I need to make sure that I have a to-do list of all my tasks that I have to get done today, then that's who you are. That's the mindset that you have. I don't think it's just going to automatically create that for people. I think it's something that you have to really think about and focus on and make effort to move towards. It's not just automatically you have this like certain mindset just because of your environment.
That's very well put. I didn't think about it in those terms.
Yeah. So do you feel that working from home is going to create this entire new entrepreneurial group of Americans?
Well, yes and no. I believe that the people that were already working in office buildings and now they're working at home, that isn't going to necessarily spark the entrepreneurial spirit. But there is another group of people, and those are the people that have been laid off. And now they're at home twiddling their thumbs or trying to figure out what the next move is going to be. And that could possibly spark the seed of an entrepreneurial mentality, or at least investigating the possibility of it. How do you feel about that?
In your initial question, you were just saying the people that work from home.
Right.
So they're actually working. They're still working. They don't have the time to think about what other options are. So if you're laid off or you quit, like myself, then you have more time to think about ways to create income in order to stay safe at home, but still have stability and resources and things that you need in order to survive on the day to day. But the people that are working from home and they already have their work established for them, they may not necessarily be so willing to go off onto a different path.
Right. So in case our viewers here don't know, the both of us, me and Mikel-Claire, are building businesses that have a digital foundation. Both businesses, or multiple businesses, are based in the internet. And for the sake of just this argument and conversation, I'm going to take a little bit of a doomsday approach. Let's just say, and I hope that this is not true, let's just say that the vaccine for COVID just doesn't happen, which is a very realistic thing. And this new norm that a lot of people, I think, feel is going to be a temporary thing. What if that just becomes the standard, right? And the traditional ways of us making business change from brick and mortar, because that's going to be a lot more difficult, to becoming more digital based, more internet based. What does that future in business and or entrepreneurship look like if COVID isn't cured?
We've kind of seen a little bit inside of what that might look like already, because it is a current situation. People are making adjustments now in terms of how they need to change their business, how they may need to look at business a little differently. They're hiring people sometimes that may be able to kind of steer them in the right direction in regards to how they change their marketing, or how they may become more of a curbside pickup versus come sit inside. You know what I mean? So I think we're already starting to see the direction that it's going in. It may change how people view entrepreneurs and the way that they can, come up with ideas and create something out of nothing sometimes, and steer their successes based off of their own ideas and work. So I think that that's definitely going to play a part in how entrepreneurs are viewed, because you have to come up with different things, new ideas, brainstorm ways to keep your doors open, and that may not be a physical door.
Right.
So I think, like I said, we're starting to see the effects of that now, and if it just continues on this path and in the way that it is, it just will be more of creating different ways to market yourself, or to or even coming up with a different business. Sometimes you have to say, hey, this didn't work out. It's not my fault.
Right.
And it sucks, but I may have to take a different path. So I think it does force people to think about different options. Right. So I think that could be a good thing for some people, and others, it's sad, but it's the reality that we're facing currently.
Yeah.
So what does it look like to you?
You know what I would like to see?
No.
I would like...
I don't.
Why aren't you reading my mind?
I'm sorry.
No, what I would like to see is entrepreneurship being taught in schools. I would hope that this pandemic forces that conversation into just the school curriculum. I personally feel that schools are more geared towards teaching students how to work for somebody than to how to create and build your own thing. If a digital workspace is the future of entrepreneurship and business, then it would be interesting to see that taught into a school curriculum, so that it's not seen as something, as a standoff thing that only a few people can do. I would love for that to be as common as learning math or learning social studies, how to build a business, how to work for yourself. So that is the future of entrepreneurship that I would like to see as a result of COVID.
That's true. But how are the teachers going to learn how to teach that, what to teach? I think that the teachers and the school systems are obviously dealing with so much and trying to figure out how to virtually teach,
right?
How to virtually provide the education that they're required by the state to teach.
Right.
So I think it would be amazing if that could be added. And come to think of it, it may be the responsibility of the parents in order to teach that, because not all of the parents are going to view it that way. Not all of the parents are entrepreneurs that can think like you and I can think and be like, oh, this would benefit our child to the 10,000th degree. So we can do that. We can teach him that. But, the other parents, I don't know how open they would be to that. But I think it should absolutely be done, because given the state of the world, it's necessary for our kids to know that there are other avenues or other ways to provide for yourself and your family other than going to the job every day.
Yeah. I have no illusions that this would happen quickly. This vision of changing the schools into embracing entrepreneurship. But if COVID is the new norm, and I hope it isn't, but if it is, I would like to see in a few years the curriculum change. Can I say it's time to put a pin in it?
Of course you can. That's your shtick.
That's my shtick.
That's your shtick.
Hey guys, I got a shtick. And I think that's a good place to put a pin in it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to The Couple of Entrepreneurs. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Let your friends know that there is an amazing podcast of two brilliant individuals talking about entrepreneurship. Yeah. And on that note, peace out.